This is quite possibly the dumbest thing that we've ever talked about on the show. And the idea that we have broken this down, I'm going to say we, but the video game industry has broken this down to literally words that are spoken is absolutely insane. Let's go to X, and the Pirate Nation X handle says, women talking in video games. Informative presentation on the proportion of female to male dialogue in video games at ADVX25. This is a real thing, a real presentation that somebody has gone line for line, word for word, and broken down the percentage between female and male dialogue in all of the Final Fantasy games over here and in Horizon Zero Dawn right here. Ladies, your thoughts?
That's a long time to spend on something so weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
Go back to the chart of like the percentages. The first one. Okay. Final Fantasy X-2 is on here.
Mm-hmm.
It is a completely female-led game. Are you really telling me that there is more male dialogue than female dialogue in a fully female protagonist game? I don't believe you. You're clearly taking random NPC lines that nobody ever listened to or paid attention to. But also, why do you have the time to do this? That's just insane. So
Yeah, that was
I'm calling doubt on 10-2 having more male than female, but I also don't care. I just want good stories and good gameplay.
All right. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Kay, because here's the thing. Blabs has put on her autism cap today, and she decided to do a little research on this. This very much struck a chord with her.
Well, I want to know what the hell we were talking about, because these accounts only just put like some of the information on, and like what are we actually looking at here?
Right. Well, I think it is important to point out here is that they went in and did a full presentation on this right here, and they want to know what's going wrong with women's dialogue. It's not that each individual woman is not given enough dialogue, but rather there aren't enough women speaking. When they speak, they have narrow range of things to say. There are gender biases in the content of what they say and what is said about them. Said to them. These biases apply not just to main characters, but minor background characters. Everyone's more likely to speak to a man. Players can't avoid the gender biases in dialogue. These are pervasive problems here. This is the narrative that they're throwing out here, and they did include this wonderful QR code, which I don't know if it's available and works, but you can help them out with a survey, which is good. But so Blabs, tell us more about this. This is from an event called Adventure X.
Yeah, so I gave you all the links. So if you actually go to that .org, that link right there, you can scroll down and it'll tell you what the about is. So if you scroll all the way down, it says the about. So Adventure X is the UK's only convention dedicated to narrative-driven gaming. That's all you need to know, because the rest of it is just slop. But the thing is, they had basically a weekend seminar, if you will, where they had a bunch of guest speakers. And funny enough, that one calendar has at 3:45. There it is. No, keep going down. It's 3:45. Was it the second day? I think it's the second day. Yeah, the Sunday. There you go. 3:45. It's you gotta keep going somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it's in there somewhere. It's basically saying male to female dialogue, and it's presented by Steph Rennick and Sean Roberts. And those are the two people you actually saw in that photo that was on Pirate Nation's account. And if you go and click on both of their names, they take you to their LinkedIn accounts where both of them have their pronouns and bios, because you obviously needed to know that one was female and one was male, when it's very clear, obvious that one is female and one is male. But ironically, though, out of all the people in that giant seminar, not these two, everybody, I counted how many people were actually there, and it's actually over 20 men were invited to be speakers at this entire event.
Yeah, I think it's important to point that out, right? Their entire idea is they want to count the words said by men and women in video games, when in reality 66% of the presenters at this event are men.
Yes.
Is that correct?
So it was less than 10 women at this entire seminar who are listed on the website. I will preface that because maybe there was more speakers that weren't on the website, right? That's entirely possible. So there was over 20 men. You can clearly see these are all dudes, except for that freaking Stark person. I didn't know what that was. I was like, I'm going to exclude you and just say like about.
Well, Blabs, that person didn't get any representation because it's only male and female voices. What if there's other genders that
maybe
also
it is a
speak in
they
video
them?
games?
I don't know.
Where's the percentage on that?
I guess I'm sexist and phobic because I looked at everybody's photos and names and decided based on that if they were male and female. Oopsies, I didn't use the pronouns. But yes, it's basically less than 10 women and there's over 20 men invited to this entire seminar.
Again, it's a cuck catalog. It's like insane.
And then, yes, very, very true. But ironically, so like going back to that one specific seminar about the male and female, ironically, you're supposed to have more female involved, and yet it was 50-50, one male, one female. Just a bit funny enough. There it is. So that's basically the TLDR of that tweet right there. But I decided to be even more artistic because why not? So if you actually go to like these weirdos accounts and all that, they actually have a video game dialogue corpus. That's right. These two weirdos created a video game dialogue corpus. I can actually pull that stuff up if there's too many links. Here it is. Let me go and share that.
What is a corpus?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you right now because it's beautiful and not really. All right, let's see. Click on this. Okay, here it is. The Video Game Dialogue Corpus, an open source collection of dialogue from role-playing video games. So those two genius knuckleheads made this, apparently. But there's more, because if you scroll down to this wonderful website, you see that Steph, the one woman, right, who was part of that seminar, she did a TED Talk. And there's a 10-minute long TED Talk that I listened to on 1.25x speed where she read and went and a whole bunch of other shit. And we'll get to that because I made some time codes for you all. But then there's even more because gender bias in video games, number of words of dialogue. Notice non-binary don't really exist, I guess, ironically, because who the hell actually cares about this?
I have so many, like, I think the bigger question here with all this is so we can take a break of your research here, Blabs. We'll come back to it in just a minute.
Oh, there's this beautiful video that explains everything to you. It's a minute long.
Okay, let's get to that in a second. But before we get to that, more just this feels like a drill being slowly inserted into my brain. Why is this important?
Oh,
do they explain this?
Yes, they do explain their quote unquote reasoning. So actually, we can watch this one video. It's like a minute long, but it has visuals. And then we can get to the little bullet points of Steph's TED Talk. And Steph is that woman who did one half of the presentation, basically.
Okay. Dialogue is a key part of role-playing video games. But in your favorite RPGs, how much dialogue is spoken by female characters?
Pause.
How many games?
Pause. That is so victim complex early. Just the idea of like, why do you go in thinking like that? Why do you go in wondering, well, how much is really spoken by a man versus woman? How often does the dog bark? You know, like these are all stupid, ancillary, dumb questions that don't mean anything if you're not looking to be a victim. That's the thing that I see here is there's a victim narrative with all this immediately. Nobody thinks like this.
So this is from Sean Roberts, the guy's YouTube account. But by the way, the studying collaboration with Undone Games and Unity, by the way, just letting you know. Anyway.
Games give them more than half of the dialogue. To find out, we set out on a quest to create the video game dialogue corpus. We collected dialogue scripts from 50 influential games from the last 30 years. Then, we identified the gender of each of the...
Okay, wait a second. So you nitpicked 50 games as well on top of this? So you probably just picked the games where you're like, oh, aha, we got it. We can totally pick all of these games that totally prove our point. Like how many hundreds and thousands of games exist, and you took 50 as your pool? Okay.
There's more to that will answer what you just said, Kay, in her TED Talk. We'll get to you.
Talk. This is the largest collection of consistently coded video game dialogue ever, and it allowed us to identify some striking patterns. Number 1. Male characters speak twice as much as female characters on average in video games. This imbalance was present both in the main character and minor character dialogue. Number 2. The imbalance is mostly caused by there being 3 times as many male characters as female characters. So if developers want to make more balanced games, one simple step is to include more female characters. Number 3. Only 3 out of the 50 games had more than 50% female dialogue.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, why? Who cares? Literally.
I'm wondering if they use games like Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring, where you can go and pick your male-female character, and everything is the same, really, right? There's not a huge difference between if you have a male or female character. So I wonder if they use those games as a reference or not.
I want to learn more about these people real quick, Blabs.
Oh.
I want to know, like, where they get their funding for all
their
this.
Background and everything?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
what were they doing before this?
I can show you because Jose Ramirez was on the case, you know?
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you want to see the last 10 seconds?
Sure.
We're working to identify more dialogue tropes so we can make better, more interesting games.
How? Why? Pause. Why?
That's the end of the video.
No, but that doesn't make any sense at all, right? Go back 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds in that real quick. That last sentence there.
Dialogue tropes expected the results to be this imbalanced. We're working to identify more dialogue tropes so we can make better, more interesting games.
Pause. Okay, we are looking to find more dialogue tropes so we can make better, more interesting games. How? Why? You're talking about 50 of the best games ever made from an RPG perspective, and you're saying that they could have been better by including more dialogue from females? How? Why? What does that improve? Nothing about this logic makes any sense. It's just a narrative of we need to, quote unquote, do better. How? Why? It's never explained. You just need to do more. Nothing about this makes sense at all. How is it going to be better and improved? According to who? Are you talking about the last 50 years that you took all these games, or whatever, it was 30 years that you took the top 50 games, or however long it's been, that has been played by millions of people who beloved these games, and you're saying that you, with your narcissism can improve those games? Are you that narcissist? That much of a narcissist to where you feel that you can improve on what some people find perfection? That's ridiculous.
I don't know how a female talking more in a game makes a game better. Like that literally has no effect. It just feels like one of those agendas that they push, like the race swapping in the movies. It's like, oh, we just should because. Like, for what? There's no critical thinking going on here. It's just we should because. That's it. That's the end of the thought.
But ironically, that video, right, was posted by the guy, Sean Roberts, who has 99 subscribers. This video was posted 2 years ago, and as of today, only 2 comments. Wait. And I'm just, I did put my two cents in it. I said yawn. Anyway.
It's the guy that posted it. This is so like a feminist frequency Anita and Macintosh situation.
I went and looked at his YouTube channel, right? He's everywhere. So like he's got how much do female video game characters speak? But then he's like Minecraft experiment knocking. Like
this is literally full Macintosh. We've got feminist frequency coming back. Oh my god. That's
I don't really know what his YouTube channel is about, but anyway, let's move on. So if you want to know who the hell Steph is, this is Steph. Now we will actually get to look at her earrings, mind you. We will get to Steph in a bit because she actually did a TED Talk that made me laugh my ass off. Anyway, so by the way, she talks about this conference. She says, we had such a great time, and I'm delighted our talk made such an impression on who? On what? Anyway, so if you want to know her experience, she's a lecturer in interactive media. She's a research associate at full-time University of Glasgow. Cool.
There it
and
is,
then all this other shit. I don't think you really care a whole lot, to be honest. But, self-proclaimed philosopher.
Okay, let's get to our TED Talk really fast. I have that pulled up. Let's just see.
I have mine too, actually. So I can actually, I need to let it just play like the very first part, and because honestly, it's just for Phoenix that I'm doing this because it made me laugh.
The convention.
Yeah, where is it? All right, here she is. Just the first sentence.
I love stories.
Great intro.
Oh, stories. Okay, now I'll get to the part where she lies because she's a little hoe. All right, so.
Wow. Okay.
Video games. Maybe that's not surprising.
Here it
They're
is.
very popular. More than 3 billion people worldwide play video games.
Oh, here it comes.
Surprise you is that roughly half of those people.
There it is.
Ta-da!
There it is. It's using the propaganda that comes from the ESRB. There it is right there. We all know this isn't true. This is something that has been blatant propaganda pushed by the ESRB. It is not even close to that number. 50%. She's talking. What do you think the breakdown of you know what? That's a good question. What is the breakdown of RPGs versus RPG players versus mobile game players? Well, man, this is. I'm gonna. Okay, go ahead, Blabs. Keep going. I'm gonna find out this research.
Okay, so then she starts saying that men speak more than women around this time.
Role-playing video games, and more than 13,000 characters analyzed. So what did we find? First, men speak twice as much as women. If we count up all the words of dialogue in our data set, 65% of them are spoken by characters who players would consider to be men.
Well, we consider to be men, so they're not, right?
Yeah.
Can I just break in for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yes,
What do you got?
Phoenix.
All right. What really chaps the old ass of mine about all this new entitlement that's been going around is that it's not like from the capitalistic kind of mindset of, let's say I live in a world where everyone eats chocolate. Back in the day, it was like, oh, good. Well, I have this thing called vanilla. And no one's doing that. So really, if I get in on the market and I sell vanilla, like I'm the only one doing that, and I'm going to make bank and I'm going to grow an industry and stuff like that. That used to be the mindset. Nowadays, it's everyone eats chocolate. And so therefore, everyone needs to insert vanilla into every single thing. You need to change for this tiny little minority here. You need to all change everything. I'm not going to do anything, by the way. I'm just going to complain and you need to listen to me. It is the most annoying, frustrating thing in the world to listen to. Then make your own games. Then put all female voices in, and let's see how it does. Test the market. Do exactly what you're saying. You want that? Do it, and let's see how it does. Because it certainly seems like it's just the big bad game industry doing this, and the audience is begging for more of this. Great, then make that game and make so much money. But we all know how that ends. So it's infuriating to listen to. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
No, you are 100% right. Ultimately, the market will decide, as we say all the time. And I think the market has already decided on this. And look, this whole idea of the 50-50 split, this is probably one of the biggest lies in video game history. I think we all understand that this 50% male, 50% female split. And while they could go into technicalities when it comes to, the mobile games, they're there. We're not talking about Candy Crush. We're talking about, I don't think 50% of women are playing Final Fantasy X2. Right, Kay?
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, it's always been a skewed number, and they just try to take these like, oh, well, look, all these people are playing mobile games. I mean, they're gamers, right? They're women. And it's like, no. They're not playing what would be considered hardcore gaming. They're playing the casual stuff. They're playing Farmville on Facebook. They're playing Candy Crush. I'm not saying there aren't female gamers. Hello, I'm one of them. But to like pretend that it's 50-50 is insane.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree with that, because one of the most common videos that I see scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and all that is like, girl just got a $2,000 computer set up so she could play Sims. Like, that is one of the most funny jokes that girls like to make when they get their little setup all put together, is like, oh, I just got it so I could play my little farmy game. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a defining factor. And when you're going to try to say, 50-50, it's not, because there is a big difference between the people that are sitting there competing and the others that are just popping in because they have some free time.
There's also that increase of Twitch girl streamers now who realistically, they just want to show off their assets. And they throw a game on in the background, and then they call themselves gamer girls. And that also inflates the numbers, and it's also not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're bouncing around on Twitch playing Just Dance and you know exactly what you're doing, you're not doing it to be a gamer, right? Yeah. Like, that should not count towards this metric whatsoever.
Yeah.
Blabs, why don't you continue with some of the key points that you found in this riveting TED Talk?
right, so around 6:40, she's gonna read about flirting. So I'll just let it play out like 10 seconds.
And more than 80% to showing off her personality. Oh, hello, friend.
She had a friend.
And most of that consists of her flirting with the male player character. Now, flirting's not a bad thing, but when it becomes a trope, when women characters are given the same narrow range of roles and stories again and again, it's a missed opportunity.
Pause. Why do they always look like this?
Because she's unhappy.
Is that really? I think that's what it comes down to, right? She's unhappy.
Yeah.
She's insecure and unhappy with her life.
It's the same reason that we were saying that, like, why are they uglying the women in video games? Because when you feel ugly, you want to make other people feel ugly. It's like you want to spread the addiction. It's the same concept.
Lack of creativity.
Yeah.
It's all insecure stuff.
If I'm miserable, I want everyone else to feel as miserable as me, and then I can feel better because they're also miserable. It's
a way to gain power too, because an ugly person typically is not going to gain much power. They've got to get it off of their brains if they can. And so again, it's the same mentality. I need to make everyone else make change for me, as opposed to making change yourself. Like this is the common theme you're going to keep seeing over and over again. Everyone else has to change, not me. You have to come down to my level.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I want to do a quick breakdown. This is I think there are more females playing video games now than ever before, right? I think we can all agree with that. And you know what? That's fine, right? That's fine. But this is as of 2025. This is a breakdown of the gamer gender split. Now, according to this research that I have based off of multiple, this is from the ESA itself, 84% of console players are male. 84%. Okay. 60% are PC players are male. It says 40% are female, right? So let's just put this in perspective. These RPG games that they're talking about here, in particular, these are from the last 30 years. That skew has gotten closer since then. So we're talking about games that were built for a male audience, right? So we're talking about I think it's like really just important to look at this right here. I want to show the visualization of this right here. Let me pause real quick. Okay, here is this. Oh, you got to pull off Blabs real quick. There you go. Okay, this is the breakdown. It's 84% gender split. Right? This is as close as it's ever been. So we're talking about it's been, what, 95-5 for most of history, right? And they're complaining about this idea that, well, there's not enough women dialogue and blah, 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 blah. Why do you think that is? Because these games were made for boys and men. Of course, like you want to, everything about this is so dumb and so.
Well, I have one more thing in this TED Talk to share with you guys because she reads about Stardew Valley and it made me laugh.
Oh, okay. Boy.
Let me add this back up.
I'm intrigued.
Once. For example, in Stardew Valley, if you choose to play as a man, you're offered ale and pasta and assumed to know your way around a joystick. If you play as a woman, it's wine and salad.
Oh no!
And you're told, I didn't think you know how to work a joystick so well, but it seems you're experienced.
It's a joke. It's a sexual joke. It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Piggyback of what Craig was saying a minute ago, made for boys. This really feels like what happened to Boy Scouts of America. Like where the girls had to come in and take over. They couldn't be Girl Scouts. They had to come into the Boy Scouts and take it over. And now it's basically like a fucking husk of what it used to be because they couldn't just make their own thing and do their own thing. They couldn't be successful in that. They had to infiltrate somebody else's thing and then tear it down from the inside.
Well, because here's the thing: if you change the Girl Scouts into like rope binding and shit, you'd have no signups. Yeah. And they know that. So again, I'm going to destroy everything else around me. I'm going to bring it down to my level. And you see it just every single time. They don't make the changes to themselves. They don't make any change anywhere because they know that will never work and it will never sell. They just keep destroying.
Very classic narcissist behavior. I am not wrong. I can't possibly be wrong. It must be somebody else, and they have to adjust to me, or they're the problem.
The power grab.
Yeah.
It's always been a power grab.
And that concludes my wonderful research. The end. I'm sorry, you'll
You
have
did
to go on
good.
that adventure with me.
No, that was a great deep dive.
Yeah,
But my
Most
brain
unfortunate.
is fixated on that chart that you showed, Craig, because it was interesting to see the disparity between like console gamers versus the other platforms. Mobile and PC are things that you use for other things, right? It's not just primarily gaming.
Once again,
A
proving
video
that consoles
game-
are true gamers. Thank you.
Well, we can have that argument another time.
I actually just made it. It's right there. There's a graph of it. Thanks, Toots.
God,
I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
We're not. No. This is like PC master race. But the game console, unless using it as an entertainment system, realistically is brought into the home primarily for video games, whereas a PC can be used for several different things, mobiles for different things. So if you look at that chart, gaming is not necessarily the first thing on a female's mind. They might, as a byproduct, already owning something in their home, play a game. We don't know what kind of games they're citing here because it could be literally anything. It could be mobile slop. It could be a legitimate game. I don't know. But like they always take these studies and they just try to say it's 50-50. We need more representation of women, all this shit. And it's like, no, we don't. If there are women that are playing the games already, they're fine. They're satisfied with what's going on. We don't need to, like, how would adding any more dialogue or any of this change anything? If people want to be introduced to gaming, they are. It's very clear based on those console numbers that women are not going out of their way to a store to go buy a video game console. They are looking at something that's already in their house and they're going, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll try that. Or they're being introduced to it. This is not women seeking out playing these games necessarily. So I hate this thing that's painted that it's like we need to include women more. If they want to be included, they can go buy a video game console. They're not buying them because of that number right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Ironically, just to wrap it all up at how stupid the world is, I've just seen this from the New York Post. Marvel star Simu Liu slams Hollywood for lack of Asian representation. Deeply prejudiced system. It's all just a giant circle. I love it. Anyway,
well,
we're all racist together.
Okay. Put a pin on all this. I thought it was really funny. This was the original chart over here. And you could see Horizon Zero Dawn, and then obviously the sequel here, Horizon Forbidden West. This was funny, just kind of like a little thing. One had 20 million sold, and the other one had 8.4 million sold. And there could be a direct correlation between the dialogue between them. Who knows? Just kind of.
How great would it be if a guy came on stage, is like he shows that, and he's like, I think they're talking too much. We need to get the females down to here, fellas. We need to
use the information in reverse.
That's so silly.
This is all really, really stupid.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this stuff, man.
Guys, just make your own games. If you really feel that underrepresented, just make your own games and then sell them. And best of luck to you. There's this huge market, so go and get them.
Yeah, no one would be upset about seeing more games like that.
Look, I'm going to be the asshole in this conversation and just say it. As a woman, I get annoyed hearing female voices constantly in video games. Like, I actually find it grating if I'm playing a game and I just hear, like, a woman yapping in my ear while I'm trying to, like, shoot something. Like, just straight up. So
I think it depends on the voice acting. If it's really shitty, then yeah. If it's okay, then it's fine. That's my opinion.
I just find the men voices are a little more calm and relaxing or actually fit the mood of the situation, whereas women just get to, like, 150 real quick, and I don't want to deal with it. And how many men, after their long day of work and dealing with life and dealing with everything else, want to just sit down and play a game and not be nagged by someone? And
you know what?
Once again, not the boss.
Like,
once again, they got
No, that's
a
good point.
You don't want a girl boss yapping at you.
Yeah, your target audience is kind of tired of listening to women all day, so it kind of makes sense why it's
the man loses at home, the man loses everywhere, and now even here in Power Fantasy, I also have to listen to the woman tell me what I'm supposed to do again. That's why it was dominated before.
Yeah,
just let them have their space. It's fine.
It's not good enough. Not good enough. All right, must be taken over by all. Clips of the show all the time. The live show Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Hit that subscribe button right here.